The Toronto Raptors have just made an extremely interesting signing for a player on a 10-day contract, and as they navigate through the tank, we're going to have the opportunity to get a really good look at this player. So just who is Cole Swider and what can he do for the team in the present and potentially for the future? Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. This is Amateur Sports. It's the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content. So if you enjoyed this video along the way, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like it and give extra support to the channel. Use the link in the description to check out our merch shop. Get yourself some cool stuff to support the channel. But today we're focusing in on the recent addition to the Raptors on a 10-day contract, who's already played a game for the Raptors in that resounding win over the Brooklyn Nets. Both teams kind of understood the assignment for this game. Neither team was really going in trying to win, but the Brooklyn Nets tried a little bit harder in the tank battle and have moved to a comfortable 3 games behind the Raptors in the standings, or you could say they're 3 games above the Raptors in the reverse standings. But it's very clear, obviously, the Raptors are in tank mode right now, and amidst the tank, they're signing guys on 10-day contracts. Get a look at these players just to see what they can provide. Are these players good enough to make the roster in the summer and have an opportunity to make the NBA team for next season? Well, they're taking a look right now at Cole Swider, and the reason this is a notable enough player to make a video about is that this guy is an absolute sniper, absolute sharpshooter from deep, and it has caught the eye of a lot of Raptors fans who think that, wait, well, some have said, like, we're tanking. Is this guy too good? Some have said, whoa, is this a player that can really manage to stay on the Raptors for next season? We're going to answer these questions over the course of the video today. But Cole Swider, before we go any further, coming into the team, he has replaced another player who was on his second 10-day contract in Collin Castleton. Collin Castleton kind of came out of nowhere when he signed for the Raptors and was immediately starting to play. And it's got like a good amount of minutes for the Raptors. And honestly, statistically, he didn't look that bad. Overall, from watching him, I wasn't the biggest fan of Collin Castleton, but as he kind of got more adjusted to playing with the Raptors, like, kind of started to feel like at the end of that second 10-day contract, he was outperforming Orlando Robinson. I know Orlando Robinson had a pretty box score heavy game against the Brooklyn Nets. He played really well in that game, but it kind of felt like not only did it look like Castleton was playing better than him, but he's actually getting maybe even some more game time than Robinson. Was that because his 10-day contract was about to expire and the Raptors wanted a better look? I'm not so sure, but ultimately, I wasn't that big of a fan of Collin Castleton. I'm not really a fan of Orlando Robinson either. It just, points out here that the Raptors decided that it wasn't going to be a long-term relationship with Castleton, have decided to go in a different direction, have gone for a completely different player here. In Cole Swider. So why are Raptors fans buzzing about this player who is 25 years old, who has played in the G League this season? Well, Cole Swider has made a name for himself as a shooter. Did so in college for 3 years playing with Villanova, where he wasn't getting the biggest role, really. He was shooting the ball well from 3 eventually, but decided to go for a bigger role somewhere else and ended up transferring to Syracuse, where he shot 41% from 3 over the course of that season as a senior, and throughout his college career, he maintained a 3-point percentage of 38%. So, yeah, pretty good, but, after all, it's college, it's a shorter 3-point line. 38% wasn't enough to get him any NBA attention, but it did get him G League attention, and so far in his G League career, my goodness, has Cole Swider shot the ball extremely well. I mean, he's played for a number of teams. He's played for the Sioux Falls Skyforce. This season, he's played with the Motor City Cruise and the South Bay Lakers. And over the course of his G League career, he has a 3-point percentage of 45.5 in the regular season as a whole, including the tip-off tournament and everything associated with the G League. He's maintained a 3-point percentage over a few years of like almost mid-40s. So that's why Raptors fans are kind of buzzing about this guy. I went on social media. People were talking about it. I went into the subreddit, and some questions regarding the subreddit were like, whoa, like I said earlier, is this guy too good for the team? Should we be signing worse players? Like, I don't think that should be what the Raptors are doing right now. Like, after all, this is a guy coming out of the G League. Like, this is not a guy who's going to step in all of a sudden win you a bunch of games in the NBA. Or at least it doesn't seem as though that is going to be the case. So clearly this guy can shoot. Clearly he can shoot. But if he's such a good shooter, well, what is he doing in the G League? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm the Cole Swider expert. I've been watching him all these years. I know everything about him right now. But Cole Swider, like, look, 6'8" guy who can really shoot the ball. That's something that can be useful to an NBA team potentially. But, we've seen a lot of guys in the past, like who play in college, who play in the G League, maybe some guys who are on the fringes of NBA teams. We see a lot of guys like this who are just really good three-point shooters, but in order to really make an impact and have a long-term stay in the NBA, you've got to be able to do something beyond just shooting. Like, kind of reminds me of the Joe Wieskamp signing from a couple of years ago for the Raptors, where, like, yes, this is somebody who can shoot the ball well from three, but you need to be providing other things to the team beyond just the shooting. That's maybe where Cole Swider has struggled. Has had a couple of experiences in the NBA as well. Played 2 games with the Detroit Pistons earlier this year. Last season, he got 18 games with the Miami Heat. The year before that, he got 7 games with the Los Angeles Lakers, but it has remained the same. Yes, this is somebody who's very capable of shooting the 3 ball, but like, again, there's just got to be something else to it. And even if, this is a player that's maybe not the most adept as a defender, like sometimes you can forgive that. But even on the offensive end of the floor, you still need to be able to find other ways to impact the game. Like I remember when the Raptors had Matt Thomas in the team, obviously a very, very good 3-point shooter. But like the scouting report, they're going to look at that. They're going to know, okay, guard this guy on the outside, stick with him on the perimeter. Like, that's enough to provide some spacing for your teammates, but now how is that player going to impact the game in other ways? Because it's great that, they're taking defender maybe further away from the rim, but how else are they going to be able to impact the game? Are they going to be able to put pressure on the rim? Are they going to be able to make smart cuts to the rim? Are they going to be able to handle the ball? Are they going to be able to make some plays, like assisting, some playmaking plays, sorts of things? Are they going to be able to hold their own defensively? And it seems as though at the moment, at 25 years old for Cole Swider, that it's not really going to be the case. But I don't think there's going to be a better opportunity for him to showcase his talent in the NBA than with the Raptors right now. Like with the Lakers in those 7 games, he averaged 6 minutes per game. With the Miami Heat in those 18 games, he averaged under 5 minutes per game. With the Detroit Pistons, he got 2 games. I'm going to assume it's garbage time this season. But yeah, not a lot of impact or ability to impact the game there. With the Raptors, like they are resting players. They're sitting guys out. They are resting star players for the fourth quarter of games. Like, what an opportunity for Cole Swider to showcase he can be more than just a shooter. Like, we look at the box score from the Brooklyn Nets game. Cole Swider got 20 minutes. He went 3 of 7, 1 of 4 from 3 for 7 points, but was a plus 13. The Raptors, blew out the Nets. So, how much does that really mean when the team wins by 30? But, looked okay in those minutes. So, if he is going to have a more long-term stay in the NBA, he's going to have to be able to prove it over this 10-day contract, and I'm going to assume it's not just going to be a 1 10-day contract thing. Probably going to want to see him on 2 10-day contracts and maybe try to get to the end of the season with the player in which some decision can be made. Overall, is this going to be somebody who's here long-term? Look, 10-day contracts, how often does this guy actually make the roster next season? The Raptors have had quite a few guys on these 10-day contracts that ultimately, don't really go anywhere. Like I remember DJ Carton to start the year. He was on some 10-day contracts last year, earned himself a 2-way spot for this year, but ended up getting cut still. Remember a few years ago, Armani Brooks was on a couple 10-day contracts, made the Raptors roster for the summer, but didn't make anything past that. So really, these aren't game-breaking players, but hey, there's clearly something there that's already at a very good NBA level. That is the 3-point shooting. Can Cole Swider add something else to the team? We'll just have to wait and see over the next 1 or maybe 2 10-day contracts.